This afternoon, the Electoral Commission is fighting off claims its decision to use the Ghana card for its continuous registration exercise is illegal and will disenfranchise many Ghanaians. Some political parties and civil society organizations have resisted the move, calling for alternative documents like the passport to also be used. But the EC says this is the best means, yet we will hear from the Director of Elections at the Commission, Dr. Paa Kwesi. But first, Research Fellow with Imani Ghana, Kofi Bento, has described as illegal the decision by the EC to use only the Ghana card. He spoke on Newsfile.
If they are seeking to add people, what it means is that all those who have already registered will not be excluded through this arrangement.
That's correct.
But you have a situation where they are passing a law that says you will only be eligible, essentially, if you have registered with a Ghana card. That is patently illegal. Because the Constitution does not say so. The Constitution says that identify the person. And the Constitution is a right. It says every citizen. And if we have time, you should just read Tenadi. Tenadi solved these problems and said that the right to vote is a constitutionally guaranteed right. You cannot use administrative law, whether it is there or it is not there, to remove it. So if what you're saying is what is true, then all of us who have registered so far will still be valid if we don't re-register. And that the rest who have to register should come with a Ghana card. That itself is wrong. Because the Constitution does not require a Ghana card. The Constitution says that identify, be shown that you are a Ghanaian. Any means by which you can show that you are a Ghanaian is valid. If you read the various CIs, it shows that the election officer should just confirm that you are a Ghanaian and of sound mind, the things that you need to do, and that you're on the register. And the important part about the EC's register is this. The EC in the Constitution is asked to compile a register. Compiling means it exists already. The EC is a commission. There is an authority today in this country that is supposed to create an identity document. So you can compile it from there. Part of why we have this problem is the abject failure of the NIA to complete its simple mission all these years. And I like the fact that you read Georgina Wood's judgment that we have needed this thing all these years, and we have spent enough money. I don't know why it should be this difficult to issue ID cards in this country for all these years. So that is one of the reasons. If we had an NIA that had issued all these cards, then it would be easy for the EC to compile the list from that card. But even if they did, it does not stop a citizen who can prove that he is a citizen from voting if they don't have the Ghana card. The Ghana card is not your proof of citizenship.
Director of Elections for the opposition National Democratic Congress, Elvis Ifria-Ankra, says the decision is unreasonable because the National Identification Authority has failed to meet its targets over the period.
Now, the EC is always talking about its independence. And yet the EC is relying on another state entity, which is the NIA, whose CEO is appointed by the government, reports directly to the president. The EC has no control over the functions of the NIA, and yet is depending on that NIA card and making it the sole document. And if you look at the statistics, it shows clearly that over the years, they've not been able to meet their own targets. So what is the guarantee that at the end of the day, by the time they open the register, limited registration, it's time to vote, people who have turned 18 would have received their Ghana? This is trite logic. Going forward, we want the NIA to respond to this letter and supply all the political parties with this data. We need this information. We need to know. There are more people in the rural areas that are in our strongholds. So we are seeing a certain trend. So we are saying, NIA, give us the information, we'll look at it, we'll analyze it, then we can have a more meaningful conversation. But you cannot force our hand to agree to something when you are not meeting your very basic targets.
We can now hear from Dr. Paa Kwesi of the Electoral Commission, who says the decision will help the EC deliver fair elections.
22 years ago, they had registered around 6 million. And now it's 17. For 2 years, they have registered about 11 million. So clearly, even though they may not be going the way we want it, they are going. And NIA is doing continuous registration. Every time our registration centers become battleground. And there's no reason apart from accusing each other of raising non-Ghanaians or raising minors. That's the reason why. So if you're not able to cure that, then we are transferring the battle from the police station to our offices. And that is what we want.
So eventually, if Parliament does not agree to your proposal and brings in other sources of identification, what will you feel? How will you feel about it?
We will feel bad, but everybody will get to know when the relatives dawn on us. Because what we want to avoid, if Parliament does not agree and we go to the final, you see the signs. Then you will say that probably if we have listened to the Electoral Commission, we would have avoided. But let's check from history. Let's check from history. There's the parties who will be accusing each other, not the Electoral Commission. They will come and even accuse the Electoral Commission of perpetuating or facilitating the registration of minors and foreigners.
Are you amenable to giving yourselves a last opportunity to use the system as it persists, at least for the 2024 elections, so that other sources of identification will be included?
I mean, something. We want to avoid the fight. We want to avoid post-registration, tedious screening and the rest. So for us, and we are convinced that based on the record, where they have, if we know the 70 million were registered from 2018, so we are talking about 4 years. So if they are able to register 17 million within 4 years, why can't they register the other figures within 2 years?
Okay.
So half of 17 million is about 8.5. And you're talking of 2 million.
How many people do we have on the register, the electoral roll?
17.0 something. So approximately 17 million.
So if you were able to take care of the problems of 17 million on the register, and you are looking to take care of the problems of 2 million that will come on, what's the issue? What's the problem? That should be easy for you to do.
We can do that. But I read that the conflict led to even loss of life and other things. And one person dying, you can't cure it. Just one.
Okay.
I was nobody should lose a strap of hair because of elections. So
okay.
There are issues that we want to address. No, we should, and the issue, as Professor Kwabon said, is about mistrust.
Okay.
Because if you trust that the right thing will be done, all these things should not be coming up.
Away from that, there is an easy calm at Akropong Kokobin in the Ashanti region as the Myrick youth vandalized properties of the Ghana Police Service and the Chief's Palace in protest of an alleged police brutality. Prince Kufuor, 37 years, was allegedly brutalized to death by police when he resisted detention at the Akropong Kokobin police station. Lab FM's Emmanuel Bright Kweku was in the town and now reports.
The deceased, Prince Kufuor, is alleged to have resisted police detention for erecting a container by the roadside for his business. Some aggrieved residents of Akropong Kokobin allege Prince was brutally assaulted while he was in the custody of the police, which subsequently led to his death. When they told him they would detain him, he told them the case was not one to have him put in custody. They argued with him, called him a thief and battered him. He had blood oozing from him. They put him in front of the police station after he died. Wails and sorrow fill the hearts of the deceased family. Sister of the deceased, Nanekia, claims she had gone to visit her brother while in detention. She found him lying weak in police custody.
Police station.
They beat him and dragged him on the ground to the police station. My brother was weak when we got there. He asked for water. After we returned from buying the water, we found him dead. The metallic kiosk, sitting few meters away from the untarred road, was to be turned into an electrical appliances shop, but this rather turned a tool for his death. His unfortunate demise has since seen the youth going on rampage to damage the windows and other property of the Tabre Chief's palace. Some property of the police were also not spared. Wife of the deceased is worried about the future of their 2 kids he left behind. I have lost someone priceless who would take care of my children. For Joy News, Emmanuel Bright Kweku reporting.
Meanwhile, the Ashanti Regional Police Command has interdicted 2 officers, Sergeant Isaac Amponsa-Broni and Constable Solomon Yeboah, to allow investigations into the circumstances which led to the death of Prince Kufuor. Emmanuel Bright Kweku joins us on Zoom with details of that particular statement. Emmanuel, so what are the details of the statement as of now?
All right, so Paa Kwesi, the statement from the Ghana Police Service signed by Public Affairs Officer ASP Godwin Ahianyo reads, the police has interdicted 2 officers, Sergeant Isaac Amponsa-Broni and Constable Solomon Yeboah, to allow investigation into the circumstances that led to the death of a suspect who was under detention at Abrafo-Kokobeng police station in the Ashanti region. According to 2 interdicted officers, the deceased suspect was arrested on August 4, 2022, fell ill while in police custody and was rushed to the hospital for medical attention but sadly died. The body of the deceased has since been deposited at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital for preservation and autopsy.
Right. Now, tell us about the family. Has the police command contacted them yet?
All right. So, Kwesi, the police has been to the family. It says that the Ashanti Regional Police Command led a delegation to visit the family of the deceased suspects and urged them to remain calm as the investigation into the incident continues. The Inspector General of Police has also spoken with the bereaved family and assured them of thorough investigation into the matter. It also entreats the members of Kokobeng and Tabre to remain calm as investigations continue to unravel the truth in this matter. So far, that is the update from the police end.
Right, thank you very much. Bright, we will come to you later for subsequent developments on this story. But away from that, at least 400 beneficiaries of the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty LEAP in the Upper East region have received $250 grants each to help them start micro businesses of their own. The grants were given by the Ghana Productive Safety Net project being implemented by the Ministry of Local Government and the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. Correspondent Albert Sori has more in the following report.
The Ghana Productive Safety Net project started in the year 2019. It was designed as a follow-up intervention to the Ghana Social Opportunities project. The project is being financed by the World Bank with $80 million. The Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development is jointly implementing the Ghana Safety Net project together with the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. Under the productive inclusion component of the project, income earning opportunities are given to beneficiaries. The beneficiaries are persons covered under the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty and the Labor-Intensive Public Works programs, which are all under the Ghana Productive Safety Net project. In the Upper East region, the number of beneficiaries are 178 in the Busa South District and 238 in the Timpani District. 80% of them are women. Deputy Local Government Minister Collins Augustine Ntim, while visiting the Upper East region to inspect progress of work under the Ghana Productive Safety Net project, presented startup equipment and materials for the beneficiaries to start their own small businesses.
Safety Net program is a proper project targeting about 80 district assemblies. The ministry is targeting about 35,000 beneficiaries to be able to take on a short-term employment. We'll be able to establish about 205 climate change plantations in about all the 80 districts and all that.
The startups were procured with the cash equivalent of $250 given as grants to each beneficiary. The amounts were loaded onto e-switch cards for the beneficiaries, who then paid for the equipment and other materials needed to start their businesses.
Market is one of the key things that we need to think if you are designing the projects, and that is why the government is also establishing the business resource centers. So they have the capacity to train and draw the market linkage. That's why everywhere I go, I bring them on board for them to understand the dynamics and understand the challenges of the beneficiaries.
Some of the businesses the beneficiaries are going into include granite processing into paste and snacks, rice processing, shea butter processing, and animal rearing. The beneficiaries were excited about this intervention from government. We have always wanted to purchase these items and start the businesses, but we could not afford it. For that reason, we remained unemployed. These monies we have received today will help us realize our dreams of starting our own businesses and be able to cater for our families. The Ghana Productive Safety Net project will monitor the beneficiaries to ensure their businesses are growing. Desmond Duametu is a production inclusion specialist with the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development.
Really be from an extreme poor household. So either you are from a LEAP or the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty program household, and where we ensure that each household is only given one representation, and the household makes a decision on who has that capacity or capability to get into community level micro enterprise activities. It takes a while to develop the capacities, it takes a while to get them into the world of work, and once you give them the startup grants, then you are sure in your mind that they are going to put these monies to good use.
The Ghana Productive Safety Net project is closing in December 2022. However, government has secured another $100 million to continue with a second phase of the project from 2022 to 2025. Reporting for Joy News, Albert Sorry, Timpani.
Let's now turn our attention to the Ashanti region, where health personnel at the Sepe Aprampram Health Center in Kumasi are lamenting the lack of privacy, especially in their labor wards. The non-gated health centers attract passers-by who often attempt to catch a glimpse of pregnant women in labor. Physicians constantly have to ward off and fight residents peeping through the maternity wards. There's more in the following report.
The Sepe Aprampram Health Center serves residents of Airport Roundabout and Sepe Brookroom in Kumasi. The health center has not been fenced since inception. The proximity of the maternity ward to the roadside has made it vulnerable to the prying eyes of the public. Some people have been found destroying the windows in an attempt to get a sight of pregnant women in labor. Harriet is physician assistant at the Sepe Aprampram Health Center.
Lack of fence wall is really affecting our privacy. The labor ward is at the back of the unit. And the back of it, people usually stand there. When people are in labor, they will just be going about looking at them. We have to go there and chase them all the time because we don't have a fence wall. If you had a fence wall, you would have closed your gate and nobody can enter. But this is a case where we share with the community and they will just be passing. When they just see somebody in labor, they'll just put their head there. Then you have to go there and fight for them. So you can see how it's greatly affecting us and our patients.
The use of benches in place of back-end chairs at the health center deters community members from using the facility. The health personnel laments the absence of an oxygen cylinder and the rush to hospitals in other communities to get used blankets washed.
When you come to a health center and you are asked to go to a different place to do your laboratory, look at the time wasted. Look at the inconveniences. Why would I come here whilst I'll go to a different place and I'll get all these items? Why will I come here and I will sit on a bench and my back will be paining me? Why will I come to an emergency and you don't have extra oxygen cylinder? When the oxygen is finished, there is no other oxygen to fill up. Why will I come here and you tell me your bed sheets are all dirty because you don't have a washing machine? You have to take your bed sheet to another place to wash and come in. It's not ready. So the patient should just lie on the bed like that.
After several appeals, the Executive Men's Club of Brokrom Estate in Kumasi has donated items worth 200,000 Ghana cedis to the health center. Benjamin Kwajo Esuako is chairman.
They asked us to come to their aid. Namely, they put it before us, they are in need of washing machine, chairs, fans, air conditioning. And I met my members and put their request before our members. And lo and behold, they accepted it. And today we decided to be here and send the items to the authorities.
Mona Lisa Frimpong reporting.
Now, the chaotic scenes on Friday night as two rival halls at the University of Ghana clashed in renewed violent confrontations. According to eyewitnesses, the clash between the two traditional halls occurred during a procession by the residents of Mensasaba Hall. It took an emergency police response to call the clash between two alleged students of Commonwealth Hall and Mensasaba Hall. Listen to some eyewitnesses who spoke to Joy News.
Okay, so yesterday in the evening when our rooms went around 9, the JCR president for Sabah came and then told the cars on our car park to move. So the police was over there and then we saw everything was resolved. Around 10 p.m. we saw the Commonwealth boys come and then the Sabah boys come out. They started throwing stones, bottles, blocks, bricks, I mean a whole lot. And then the boys were very angry, like it was a charged environment, like it was too violent.
So it all started around 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m. and ended like 12:01. But at the beginning it wasn't that serious, but as time went on, like more Commonwealth boys were coming from their side. Yeah, so when they became more like they were pushing the Sabah boys back, so the Sabah boys had to come back. So that's when they took advantage to break the statue and take it away from them. That's it. So after that was around like 1 a.m. Yeah.
Association, OLA. The African Women Lawyers Association, OLA, is intensifying sensitization on sexual and gender-based violence in communities within the Techiman South and Kintampo North municipalities. The move, according to the Executive Director of OLA, Edna Kumari, forms part of the implementation of the group's project titled Strengthening Communities Against SGBV, which seeks to create an enabling environment for girls and women to know, claim and exercise their rights to end sexual and gender-based violence in the beneficiary communities. There's more in the following report by Anasabet.
The week-long sensitization workshop organized by the African Women Lawyers Association was to, amongst other things, raise awareness on the dangers sexual and gender-based violence poses to the education and development of children and the vital roles of parents and community stakeholders in containing the menace. Executive Director of AULA, Madame Edna Kuma, who took the participants through various SGBV-related topics, noted that the move is to form teams capable of addressing cases of sexual and gender-based violence and aid the victims in their quest to seek for justice.
We met the CUC, they are the Court Users Committee, and this Court Users Committee are mostly institutions, including SHRAJ, Social Welfare, the courts, DOVSU, the police, and Ghana Health Service. The other groups are here. What we're doing is that to appraise them with the simple issues at court going, because some of them were afraid to handle issues for others at the court or encourage them to go to court. So the intention is to form a committee and a platform so that they can respond to each other. If a case comes to them, they put it on the platform. How do we do it? So if it does too, there's a DOSTU person on the committee so they can quickly answer and respond.
She, however, expressed worry at the increasing number of girls being married off to older men out of ignorance and poverty, and appealed to parents to be responsible.
How do I allow 40 years old to go and marry? A child marriage. You can't handle your own biological self, let alone a baby, let alone handle an elder man. Your bargaining power is very low. So the marriage may not last. So we keep on appealing to parents how responsible they should be, not to be pushing their children into marriage. And at the same time, the communities should be very careful about how to handle the girl child.
The Chairman Municipal Director of the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Anthony Kwame Agmamavi, bemoaned the involvement of some key stakeholders in the community to settle rape and defilement cases out of court, a situation he described as worrying.
The challenges we encounter is the involvement of the chiefs. Sometimes they would want to intervene in the matter and do it home settlement. But issues of defilement and rape, they are purely criminal matters. So those who have to come in, assess the situation, and if the perpetrators have to be sent to court, they will put them before court for them to face the full rigors of the law.
A representative of the Traditional Council and Adontihema of Tanoso, Nana Ikriasewa Bonsu, disclosed that the meeting has exposed participants to proper ways of handling SGBV cases and should extend the message to other queen mothers in the area to sensitize the masses in their various communities.
Ahima for Bosumi be a fear day chato in your committee. Mestre Yempenny for our Modaya no say, Ombema Maquenya na Makasa Chre. Na nanom ama wo so de akọ afiefiem akọbọ omamanfo amane se se benye sika nko an de fa lawyer wasem otimi kọ ema lawyer twitwaje na obusa mi a na de ye be ya afa ho no.
Municipal Girl Child Coordinator Ellen White, on her part, lauded Aula for the exercise and called for intensive sensitization among girls in schools.
Aula has been very supportive to the municipality. They were here in 2019 and they have made a lot of impact. So we have to sensitize our girls and our males to the boys as well. They also need us. So the sensitization has to go far in the communities. We have to intensify our community engagement so that they get to know more about sexual and gender-based violence.
The program, held under the theme Strengthening Communities Against SGBV project, with support from Oxfam, WILDAF, the European Union and other partners, seeks to create enabling environment for girls and women to know, claim and exercise their rights to end sexual and gender-based violence in Ghana. Anna Sabet, Joy News, Tichiman.
Now, some students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology have been sharing personal experiences of attempted rape on campus, with a call on colleague female students to be extra vigilant. While some sympathize with victims of recent rape incidents involving students, others point to a growing trend where some students agree to go into sex involving multiple sex partners for financial or material gains. Lab FM's Erastus Asaredonko has been speaking with some students and now files this report.
There has been 2 incidents of alleged rape within the university community involving students of KNUST within the past 2 weeks. In the recent incident, 6 students are alleged to have had sex with a first-year student interns. On the 4th floor of this hostel block at Bomso, 2 men, a police officer, and a final-year student are alleged to have raped a first-year student last week. These incidents have raised public concern. To some female students on campus, reports of rape involving students brings fresh memories of her own experience.
Has this happened to you before?
Yeah.
What happened? Can you share that with me?
Okay, I think it was last year. I was in level 100. I was at Kunti. And between the hours of 11 to 12, an unknown man, like let me say a student, barged into my room and he started harassing me.
What did he do?
Actually, he broke the door. He unlocked the door, and when he entered, he was like, "I'm here to satisfy your sexual needs." So I was like, "Do I even know you?" So I started insulting him, and then he pulled down his shorts like I should give him BJ. So I was like, "Do I even know you? Why are you doing this? Do you want to be withdrawn from the school? I can help you." So he starts by me, and he started struggling with me on the bed, hitting my head on the wall, the metal bed, beating me and a whole lot.
Did you report?
I didn't report though, but the noise made one of the students, like our floor rep, she ran down to the securities and she went to complain. And by the time they came, I was on the 4th floor. So the time they got there, he had already run away. But Kunti has CCTV cameras, so we were able to catch him, like capture him, because I didn't see his face clearly. So when they brought him, I was able to identify him because he was having a big scar around his eye area.
So the second rape incident involving 6 students of the KNUST is alleged to have happened in this hostel. But management of the facility say otherwise. They claim it happened in a homestay nearby. Now, there is a widely held perception about what might have happened in the second rape incident. Some students generally point to a growing trend of acceptance by some female students of sex with multiple partners for monetary gains and what they describe as fashion over for clothes and material things. It is yet to be established whether this incident or the first one is similar to the widely held perception.
The general talk among students is a growing practice where some students willingly go for sex with multiple sex partners, popularly known as threesome.
I don't know what kind of fantasy is, promoting this mindset. I can't tell about them.
But how do you see that? Well, for a guy to say I want to go for twosome with a lady and all that.
Well, it's a polluted mindset, obviously, but it's society. There's a lot of changes when you are growing. There's a whole lot of changes. Think about a whole lot of stuff as a guy. Think about a whole lot of perverted things. It's normal to think about that, but it's not right to enforce it forcefully. That I would say that.
When you say it happens, it means people have twosome, threesome, and all that.
Yes, this youth of our time, yes, they do have threesome, twosome, yeah.
Is it normal on campus?
Yeah, people actually people agree to it. Even people dating themselves agree to having a threesome and twosome. So yes, it happens on campus.
Personally, what do you think about that?
It's very bad.
I've heard something like that because I think it was in the university that I came to hear about threesome. So that was when I got to know that it involves like 3 people. Yeah, but I've not heard of anything like this happening before. But I know it was here that I came to know what it was actually.
Students are calling on colleagues to take their well-being into their hands and be more vigilant. Erastus Sasaridonko's report read to you.
Let's now go back to our earlier story at the University of Ghana, where there has been a renewed clash between students of Commonwealth Hall and Mensa Sabah Hall. Joining us on Zoom now is the Vice President of the Students' Representative Council, Mr. Wisdom Ndukwe. Now, Mr. Ndukwe, what has the SRC gathered so far regarding this particular incident? Hello, Ndukwe, kindly unmute so that we go ahead of the conversation. All right, so let's now connect with Prince Asumedu instead. He is the SRC president of the University of Ghana. Mr. Asumedu, if you can hear us, what has the SRC gathered so far regarding the clash between the two halls?
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I must say that I would want to personally use this platform to condemn the act that happened last night between Commonwealth Hall and Mensa Sabah Hall yesterday evening. So far, the appropriate quarters, together with the SRC and the security services within our country, have put in together, and we are going to assure that all the perpetrators that were involved in this will be punished for the first time.
All right, now can you bring us up to speed with the extent of damage and casualties that have been recorded so far?
It's not pleasant at all. So far, cars have been burnt, properties around the enclave of Central Cafeteria and the SRC Union building has been destroyed, ATM machines and all that. And students too who were involved in this clash, some are hurt, some are in the hospital and so forth.
All right, that's rather unfortunate. Now, finally, can you tell us what the SRC, your outfit, is doing to restore calm on campus and, more importantly, to forestall some of these developments from reoccurring?
Okay, so the police service and other security agencies, they've been on ground since last night, and as I'm talking to you now, they are still on ground. Investigations are ongoing, and we can assure our constituents that they should stay safe and stay calm. The SRC is working tirelessly with management and appropriate quarters to make sure this will not be repeated again in the subsequent days to come.
All right, when you say the SRC is working, what exactly are you doing by way of a policy reform or an intervention? What precisely are you doing? Because this has been a perennial challenge. It's been occurring over the years. What particular measure are you putting in place? Hello, Mr. Sumedu. It's unfortunate, but it appears we've lost to the SRC president of the University of Ghana, Mr. Prince Asumedu. He was speaking on the recent clash between Mensa Sabah Hall and Commonwealth Hall. But we have the vice president on, and so I'm sure we'll be able to engage him. Wisdom Indukwe. Right, Mr. Indukwe, kindly unmute and can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Schandorf.
Great. Now, I want to find out from you precisely what specific policy or intervention is your outfit rolling out to ensure that such incidents do not occur again? Because this is not the very first time we are seeing an event of this nature.
Okay, so the SRC has an arbitration committee. So what we are trying to do is to get the leadership of both halls. Yesterday, we reached out to both of them at the height of the clashes. And then we try to have a conversation with them to speak to their constituents to restore calm. But then I think after the clashes, the tension was diffused, and then everyone went their way. Management we had to go to the police station. We had to deal with the security services to ensure that the calm that had been restored would continue throughout the night. So going forward, the SRC, through its arbitration committee, will be finding a way of bringing all stakeholders on board, where we would search our souls, as students, and see how best we can put together, find the root cause of this, whatever problem it is. Because, like you said, this is something that has been occurring over the years. At almost every year, every other year, we hear of clashes between Mensa Sabah Hall and then Commonwealth Hall. So it means that this time a lot of inputs has to go into bringing about long-lasting solutions that would bring an end, a final end to these clashes. Yes, so that's what we intend to do, bring stakeholders on board, and from there we'll draw a peace roadmap as to reconciling both halls and then arbitrating whatever differences that exist between these halls.
Mr. Ndukwe, in 30 seconds, now the SRC has a Student and Intelligence Affairs Committee. Couldn't they have gathered intel that this was going to happen in the very first place? Couldn't that have been done in 10 seconds?
Yeah, so like we said, we are still trying to find out. The investigations are still ongoing as to the exact cause of the incidents. Because the whole of yesterday was calm, as part of a program that the Mensa Sabah Hall is having. They did their Okpo was official. They did that, and then that was camp. So it was just like it came as a shock for me, like a shock that what we saw was a shock to all of us. Yes.
Right. Thank you very much for your audience. We'll leave it here and we'll follow up with further developments on this particular story. At this point, we'll take a breather. When we come back, the bulletin continues. Don't go anywhere. It's raining discounts at the ongoing second clinic of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. Real estate company Blue Rose Virtual Security Africa, Everplast, a subsidiary of Interplast, are amongst a long list of exhibitors offering as much as 10% discount on houses, home security devices and other products. Maxwell Agbaba was at the event, which started on Friday and ends on Sunday.
Interacted with a young couple who got married sometime last month, and I was speaking to the man. He was telling me that he is particularly excited that he can just come here and then put into motion his plan to construct his own home from scratch to finish. He cannot simply imagine how he's going to juggle his work with visiting, housing companies in search of good deals.
Sukasa Properties. And you can see we have our products. We have our products on display here. At Sukasa Properties, we actually pride ourselves with affordability because the product that we offer on the market, there is non-comparable on the market as far as pricing is concerned. And that does not mean that we compromise on quality. No, we do offer very great service and we do offer quality product. At the moment, our 2-bedroom facility in the East Legon area, East Legon Hills, is going for 400,000 cedis. We do have our 3-bedroom equally that is going for 560,000 cedis.
This is the 4-bedroom?
That's exactly the dummy you see right here. Yeah, we can go through later on. And then we do have our 4-bedroom facility equally going for 840,000 cedis.
The main event is going to take place from the 24th to the 28th of August at Accra International Conference Center. But for now, the forecourt of the West Hills Mall has been transformed into a one-stop shop for everything housing.
Virtual Security Africa, complete security solutions for all. This is a GSM intruder alarm system. It works with sensors.
Works with sensors?
So these are the sensors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does it work?
So we arm your windows and your space. So we place these advantage places where you want to secure. So when anybody intrudes, it goes off and the person will run away, or it will call your phone. When you're not home, it sends a signal to your phone. Yes, you can register as many over 100 numbers on your phone to call. So maybe if you have the police in your area, when you are traveled, your family members, your friends, so that when there's anything, it will signal them directly so that they can come in. Yes, the moment it senses motion, the alarm will just go off. Any client who walks in here, you can enjoy as low as, let me put it that way, 10%. So that's the lowest. So just imagine the discounts we have for all our potential clients walking in. So please, we are encouraging each and everyone to come by.
Let me speak to a rep from Blue Rose Limited. Blue Rose, tell us, what do you have on offer here?
All right, so we are real estate developers, and we provide properties ranging from 1-bedroom expandable, 2-bedroom terrace, 2-bedroom semi-detached. We also have the 3-bedroom semi-detached and the detached and the 4-bedroom detached. We also provide quality and affordable housing units for everybody. Yeah.
You have some discounts. Earlier you were talking about some discounts that you have. How much?
So if you are able to purchase a house from today to Sunday, we'll give you a 10% discount.
10% discount?
10% discount.
From now to Sunday?
From now to Sunday.
Only available here at the West Hills Mall?
That is it. That is it. That is it.
Any house at all?
Any house at all.
So from Blue Rose Limited, they are giving 10% discount, and as you heard him, many of the exhibitors here are doing same, equally doing same. We've been interacting with them, and they tell us that is because this is the Habitat Fair. This is the second clinic of the Habitat Fair. They told me that if you come to their offices, it's likely you're not going to get a discount. But if you come here, you get a discount. DBS is giving that. Blue Rose is giving that. Some companies I interacted with earlier, many of them are also giving that. Interplast Limited, hi. What's your name, sir?
I'm Lawrence.
Okay, what do you have on offer here?
The sale, we have a sale going around all
So it reduces noise. All our windows reduce noise, but the casement reduces noise 99%, 95%, and the sliding to up to 85%. Yes, that's
interesting.
Yeah.
So it means if you live in a very noisy environment, if you live very close to a church or very close to a pub, you definitely need this kind of window because it's cutting down the noise by 95%.
95%.
Any discounts you want to talk about?
10% discount when you visit.
10% discount.
Yeah.
10% discounts here. So it's, let me say, it is actually raining discounts here.
Now, the price of crude oil continues to fall as the commodity, which peaked at more than $1.3 per liter a barrel in March 2022, has given up all the gains triggered by the Russian-Ukraine war, falling to around $94 a barrel. If this continues, prices of petroleum products on the local markets will see the biggest reduction in the next pricing window on August 15. But according to petroleum strategist Yusuf Suleimana, this continuous reduction may not be sustainable. He spoke on Joy News' Business Live.
I mean, nobody will stick the neck out and tell you that these prices are going to go down continuously like that. It's not going to happen. It may not happen. We're going to give it some time. And I'm saying that because if you look at, I mean, the factors that are keeping the oil price as it is now, the downstream the downward in the downstream will only sustain if we have a very much good control on the upstream. Bear in mind, what keeps the downstream from going up and from going down is because of the global prices, apart from our exchange rate. I don't want to say that exchange rate, let's say we'll hold exchange rate, we'll hold taxes. Then we'll talk about the global oil prices. So what is keeping global oil prices are three things. Number one, the rate at which the economies are opening. It has opened to the extent that we hadn't had that much of investment going to the downstream side, upstream side to beef up investment. So the whole thing about the upstream, why the upstream is burning out and we're still not to be able to control it, is because of the quantum decrease in the kind of investment after the COVID. Investment hasn't gone back. And let me just give you a brief history on this, why it is very dicey to tell. If you watch closely, let's say first quarter of 2020, we had the market collapse. And the market collapsed because COVID was just coming. The market collapsed with even WTI going to negatives. So OPEC came together and said, okay, let's make some supply cuts. So they took about 10% of global supply out of the basket. That was about 9.7 million, barrels of oil per stream day. And that was huge. So that kind of ration has been there, and that amount of oil hasn't gone back to the market. It is just this month, the end of this month, that kind of ration is ending. So yes, a lot of people were expecting that OPEC would have gone like a quantum leap. But of 100,000 barrels of oil increment to the global basket, I think it's not something that is going to have impact on the downstream side. So yes, it is difficult to tell at this moment whether this downward trend will sustain. It will only sustain when we have robust investment coming back to the global oil community, where we have investment coming back to the upstream and we invest more into the upstream to churn out more oil. And then when also OPEC members, especially Saudi Arabia and UAE, if Saudi Arabia and UAE can beef up, because they are the only people with a credible capability to be able to add up to the global basket. If these two players are not able to add anything to the global basket, I'm afraid we may still see high prices, at the downstream side, at the upstream side, and that will automatically impact the downstream, yeah.
Now, still in business, the stock market saw movement in 6 equities with 2 gainers and 4 losers for the week. The performance of telecom giant MTN pushed volumes and values up to close the week, although the financial stocks recorded a decline to close on a negative note. Head of trading at the Republic Securities, Patrick Adam Agamon, explains the details of the trading this week as well as a projection for the oncoming week.
The stock market recorded activities in 24 equities this week. Total volumes and values traded shot up significantly on the back of MTN. There was massive pressure on the composite index this week, making it plunge to negative 14.08% year to date. The financial stock also lost some points to close at negative 2.24%. There were 2 gainers and 4 losers this week in terms of equities, and also we recorded activities in New Gold ETF gaining 4.27 in value. Access Bank led the gainers to gain 45 pesos to close at 3 cedis per share. Calabar gained a peso to close at 75 pesos per share. Total ETI lost a peso each to close at 4.09 Ghana cedis per share and 15 pesos per share. Societe and MTN also lost some points to close at 0.96 pesos and 80 pesos respectively.
That's all for business. We'll take a breather. The bulletin continues shortly. That's all for the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Paa Kwesi Schandorf. Do enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.